Welcome back to This Pick.
Welcome back to the show, you guys.
And this will be a recap of the Saints and Steelers game. Saints take this one 31-28. Really great game. A lot of amazing plays. A couple of really weird penalties from the refs.
Yep.
And some weird decisions. But let's get some stats knocked out right quick. Drew Brees had a pretty good game. 326 yards, a touchdown. They didn't really run the ball a lot, so that's one of the reasons why they didn't get a whole lot of yards. Ingram had 35 yards. 11 carries for Tubb. Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara both had really good receiving yard catches and games, but not running wise. Big Ben had a really great game, almost 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. Steelers as well, they didn't run the ball out. I guess they forgot that they're allowed to do that. Antonio Brown had an amazing game, 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was really dominant. They couldn't, even when they were bracketing him, he was still getting balls. And so he played really well. Juju played well, but he had a really bad fumble that cost the Steelers the game.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought the Saints were going to win this one. They have a really good team. They're really hard to beat at their home stadium. But man, Steelers really put up a fight. They trying to fight for their playoff lives. Now they needed some things to happen for them to get in the playoffs. But this game was in their hands, and they just kind of blew it a little bit. Defense didn't play great. They had some weird calls on them. That one phantom pass interference call on Hayden against Alvin Kamara. I did not understand what the hell they saw in that play. That wasn't even close. One of the worst calls I've seen this season. I gave up a touchdown. Another calls, one was a pass interference on 4th down, and it was deflected, and that's not pass interference because the ball is deflected. You pretty much can do anything you want to receiver. So yeah, a lot of bad calls, my eyes, but some really bad decisions by the Steelers coaching staff.
Yep.
And Ryan will get into that a little more than I will, but yeah, man, great win by the Saints. Drew Brees, really great bounce back game. He's been struggling the last few weeks, but yeah, man, the Steelers just made a couple of mistakes and barely lost to a really good team.
Yeah, they definitely came to play. This was definitely an exciting game to watch. If you guys watched it, or you guys go check out the highlights. It was a really good game, very interesting game to watch. Back and forth, pretty much the entire game. Pretty much all the big weapons for both teams came out to play. Antonio, Michael, Thomas, he balled out. So yeah, pretty much all the big stars came out to play today, and they showed that this could be a Super Bowl. I mean, it's more of a stretch for the Steelers, but it definitely shows that if these two teams do happen to see each other in the Super Bowl, it might be another good game. But yeah, man, they definitely came to fight. That dome is one of the hardest places to play because it's so loud and congested in there, and yeah, them Saints fans know how to get real loud and scream that hoot at. So that's a tough place to go to play, and they almost won the game. Like he said, Juju slipped up there. Sheldon Rankins, great job by stripping the ball, and great play there to make him roll over his body and keep him off the ground. That was really genius by Sheldon Rankins. But yeah, man, I think what ruined it for Pittsburgh is these big calls by the coaching staff of Pittsburgh. One of them was a 3rd and 2, and they tried to pack the line with the I formation and run it down the gut. And it was a long, you know how like sometimes it could be a short 4th and 2 or short 3rd and 1 or whatever the case may be. But that was a long 3rd and 2, and that decision to run the ball right there, right down the middle, was a terrible decision in my eyes.
Especially how good Ben was playing.
Right, and they haven't, and that's a good point too. They really hadn't run the ball a whole lot in that game to begin with, so that didn't make any sense. He fumbles the running back fumbles the ball, they recover it. So that was one of the big no-nos that happened for me. And the second one, they went for a fake punt. I believe it was like a minute or 2 left in the game.
A little more than that.
Yeah, like at least 2 minutes, I know for sure.
Like four-ish.
But yeah, it was a big moment where they were up a couple, like 3 points, and they were trying to hold off the Saints, and they go for this 4th and 5 fake punt. I don't know why. I mean, they almost got it. Don't get me wrong. He's a couple
At
inches
their own
short.
40-yard line, that's the other problem.
That's what the point I was going to get to. For one, it's getting down to the end of the game where you just need to really play smart and just try to hope your defense can make the stops and pin them back, and your punter can pin them back there deep in their own territory. But no, they go for this. I mean, like I said, granted, they almost got it, but that's the thing, they didn't. And, they gave Drew Brees and that offense great field position, and pretty much they used almost all that clock and went down that field and scored that touchdown. And, honestly, that was the game ender for them. But they ended up coming back, getting down that field. And then, Juju just slipped up, couldn't hang on the ball. Like I said, once again, great play by Sheldon Rankins to twist his body to keep him off the ground and strip it away, and that was a genius play. And, I mean, they very easily could have tied the game up at least. But, really, the Saints played really pretty much outside of covering Antonio. They played pretty solid defense. I don't know. I guess these both teams before the game, I guess they had a meeting and said, all right, we're not going to run the ball. I don't get it. I kind of understand it more for Pittsburgh because they don't necessarily have the depth in running back right now. So I kind of understand why Pittsburgh didn't run the ball that much, but I don't understand why New Orleans didn't run the ball that much. The Steelers defense ain't that great at run stop, and they got two really solid backs, so I don't understand why they didn't run the rock that much. They definitely could have run the rock a little more and kept a more balanced game, and I think the Saints could have maybe had an easier W, maybe, but that's my opinion. Like I said, you got two solid backs. I don't know why you don't utilize them more, but I don't know. I just guess they felt like we were just going to throw a bunch today. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is, but they got away with one, man. And I think, like I said, I think the Steelers kind of helped them in this W. A lot of bonehead decisions, and it ended up wrecking the game for them at the end of the day. So great win by Breeze and the Saints. I know the 13-2 is kind of crazy for me to say it was a really solid, necessary win because they're 13-2. But it really was a necessary win for the Saints because these past 3 or 4 games they've been struggling to score points, and they scored 31 on a pretty solid team. So that's pretty good, and hopefully that gets their confidence back up, and they can get back to being the Saints that they were, and they were pretty much in this game. They balled out for the most part. So great win, Steelers, man. Y'all are pretty much on the outside looking in now. Y'all got to win next week. If y'all don't win next week, y'all are definitely going home. So Mike Tomlin got a lot to thinking to do about the plays he called in this game and the plays he's going to call in this next game. So like I said, good win by the Saints, and tough day for the Pittsburgh, especially if you're a Pittsburgh fan.
Yeah, even if the Steelers would have got that 4th down call, I still don't agree with it. I'm not one of the people in the media says that, well, if it's a questionable call and you get it, then you're a genius, and questionable call and you don't get it, you're an idiot. So I completely disagree with that. I think it was a risky call and kind of a dumb call in my eyes. If you would have got this, fortunate to get it and good execution. But
especially in that, like I said, that late in the game, and that close to their goal if you don't get it. So I don't know, man. I just, like I said, I really truly think, I know it ain't like a lot of people say, I know it ain't just one play that defines a whole game, but in some ways I believe sometimes that happens, and I think that happened in this game because like I said, they pretty much drained all the clock after that, went down the field and scored, and like I said, after that, Pittsburgh had to rush down there and try to get something, and it didn't work out.
The Steelers need to win this coming up week, and they really need the Browns. They need the Browns to beat the Ravens, and they're getting the playoffs, and vice versa. If those things don't happen, the Steelers won't be in the playoffs, and the Ravens will. So, Saints get the number 1 seed and hold field advantage, and it's gonna be really hard to beat them there.
And that's why I also say that was a very important win as well, is because that locked it up the home field advantage for the Saints. So, yeah, that was a big W for them as well.
Alrighty, that's all I got to say about the game.
That'll do it for me as well. Please comment, like, subscribe. Of course, we'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. See you on the next one.